just realized I wasn't recording, but she is constantly, again, just speaking life to others, including others, having so many events in her home, and always making sure that she is showing up. She's showing up and expecting great things to happen. So tonight, we are going to do a little bit of back and forth, but what I'm going to do, and if you've been part of our Motivation Mondays before, I really turn the floor over to another leader to teach us something really cool or inspire us. Just do something that's going to evoke a little bit of thought and change. So we're going to allow Kim to do that. And then her and I will go back and forth some. And of course, leave it open for you guys to ask questions out loud, into the chat box. We want to make sure this is not just about us, but about all of you. And again, we are going to do the recording, so that will be up for everyone as well. So go ahead and I'll let you start teaching something wise to us right now.
I'm looking for my book.
Gold.
All right, Denise, I hope you can find your book.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, honey.
To take notes.
No, it's fabulous. I love it. Get your notebook. And please take notes, because this is really good stuff. I was taking notes while I was taking notes. So I was getting ready for this. But on that note, if everybody wants to go ahead and hit the mute button for me, that would be awesome, just for those watching the recording. I want to get through the notes that I took and get all of this content that I have here on my heart out. And then we're actually going to have some really fun chatting, because Ashley gave me some questions. She inspired me to have questions ready. And when I had these questions, I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear everyone else's answers. So I'm going to ask you guys questions at the end. So this is going to be fun. All right. So I had no clue that this happened until I was on a leadership call, probably, I don't know, I think like a week ago, maybe, or about 3 weeks ago. And I realized they had just said this is something that happens often. They talk about often in leadership training about your essential rewards percentage. Now, for those of you who don't know, what you want to do is make sure you have Oily Tools. So if you're building and stuff, Oily Tools is a fantastic app that you can add on to, it kind of takes all the information from Virtual Office and kind of converts it into more business building statistics and great information. I think everyone's number one favorite thing about Oily Tools is that when you log in, it tells you what your projected pay might be. That's my favorite part. But anyway, there's this really cool feature under the stats that you can actually look at your essential rewards percentage. What that is it's actually taking how many people are on your entire team and how many of them are actually enrolled in essential rewards. And so I was listening to a business call probably about I think 7 months ago, 8 months ago, and or with a bunch of leaders, and they were like, you need to look at your percentages. And I was like, well, what should I be aiming for? And they started saying things like you should be at 40 or 45 or something like that. That was the ideal percent. And so I was kind of excited about that, thinking oh, okay. And I looked at my number and it was 32, and I'm like, I've got some work to do. And so I started really making that my focus. And then Ashley even did some promos and stuff that were all about raising your percentage, and just making it all about that focus. And I like promos. I'm Asian. I'm all about the free stuff. So it was a lot of fun for me to make that a priority. And so I realized in doing that, how on earth do you make essential rewards something, a percentage? And just keep in mind, guys, percent ER is the people who are enrolled in ER, who are members underneath of you. Okay. So how do I increase the value of essential rewards? Because, it's easy to say that, but not everybody's down for the whole monthly auto ship thing. Some people get nervous about the commitment level or having to commit too much. And there's so many concerns. And the thing that I have found that has shifted the most was investing in someone for 3 months when they sign up. So let me stick with my notes here, but the number one thing that you want to write down is you want to add value to essential rewards. So no matter who you're talking to on your team, whether it's a prospect or somebody who's already been a member, you want to emphasize the value of essential rewards. Keep in mind, I went from 32% up to 53.6% in 8 months. And that was most of that time having your premium starter kit as your first essential rewards order. That didn't even exist. And now it does. And so that's really, really making it a whole lot easier. And it actually, though, it puts the emphasis on having the essential rewards as, it puts all the emphasis on having your follow-up be with people a little later on. But we're going to talk about that here in a second. So Starting out from the basics, okay? You're wanting to get somebody signed up with Young Living. You want to help them make healthy choices. So you want to know your people. And so it's like FORM. I don't know if anyone knows FORM, but FORM is an acronym: family, occupation, relationships, and then the message. And so what you're doing is you want to ask them questions. And a lot of people struggle with, what do I ask somebody who's new to me? And so ask them, think, okay, their family. Do they have a family? Like, what's their relationship with their family? And even people who don't have kids, like that intimidated me for a while. But then I realized they have a relationship with their mother, brother, sister, uncle. And so as you ask them questions about their life and who they are, you start discovering more and more facets about who they are. And as they talk, people love to talk about themselves. And if you're engaged and relating to them and just having that chit chat, when you feel that they're passionate about something, go a little deeper and get to know them. As you're doing all of these things and getting to know people, you start really finding the ways to connect the starter kit and Young Living, not just the starter kit. And that's the key, guys, is you have to think outside of the starter kit whenever you're wanting to add value for Essential Rewards. Okay, so this is taking it like, here's the starter kit. Yes, I want to share the starter kit, but you need to share the whole company. But how do I do that? And that's by being able to take that little bit of chit chat, that little bit of talking, and take it to that next level. And so as you talk to them, you're like, wow, that really makes sense. And of course, you're trying to get them signed up. So you do want to keep the focus on the value of what's in a premium starter kit. But in the back of your mind, those little hamster wheels running on all of the things that you want to get them on for month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5. So that by the time you hung up the phone with them or finished that conversation with them or finished teaching that class, you've already name dropped like 16 different products that they're like, oh my gosh, I really, okay, yeah, I got to have that. And so then when you actually go to talk to them about, this is that closing, this is that scary thing that most of us are like, how do I close? Okay, this is that thing with closing. When you're closing them, you're talking about the premium starter kit, you're bringing all that stuff up, but you're also saying to them, guys, this is really awesome. I absolutely love this, but the thing that I love most is the Essential Rewards. And now it's so much easier because you're just like, well, I mean, that just, to me, it's a no-brainer. You get a free bottle of oil this month. You get a free bottle of orange just by saying yes to this. And you're not really making a commitment for the long term because the program is optional. You can cancel at any time. You know, I even tell them, I'm like, look, get to month 2, get your free product, call me. I will help you get that whole thing shut off so you don't have it for the 3rd month. Meanwhile, I know that when they call me, we're going to have a really good conversation about why they don't like Essential Rewards, why all that stuff. I'll even say, look, I'll call Young Living for you and shut it down for you if you need me to. I got you, you know. But then we get together and I talk to them and they end up seeing value or that sort of thing. And sometimes you respect people's finances, decisions, etc. But that actually has really helped. I had a couple people where they were like, yeah, I'll do it now. And then maybe I'll cancel it. And then I talk to them and they're like, no, I'm not canceling. This is fabulous. And so just encouraging them that this is really the right decision. It's going to be okay. And that non-committal factor is really important for a lot of people, that they can cancel. And it sounds so weird to say that, but now that the PSKs can count as their first ER order, it's so much easier. Okay, so we've kind of gone through the basics of the value of Essential Rewards. This is getting people getting started. But as you're talking to them too, another thing that's really wonderful is offering 3 months of free coaching when they sign up. That's like my favorite thing to do. Like, look, if you guys sign up for Essential Rewards, I would absolutely love to coach you for the first 3 months that you have your starter kit. What does that mean? That means that you and I are going to plan a schedule a date every single month, and we're going to get together on the phone or in person or on FaceTime or whatever, because, you know, I like to use my hands when I talk, and we're going to chat and we're going to find out what works best for you and what your needs are in your family. What are your goals? And when you speak to them in terms of their goals and their family and their health and their wellness, and celebrating that they're taking the right steps to go natural and healthy, it changes their perspective. It takes down all of their defenses because they're realizing, yeah, she's my advocate. She cares about the same things I care about. She cares about Betty Sue and how sick she's been. She cares about my sleep and my sanity. And when they hear that, and you're interlacing all that stuff that you got from forming them earlier into that conversation, I can't tell you how many people that I've finished a conversation once they got done and saying, okay, so I'm really excited because month one, we're focusing on mama's hormones. And then month two, I can't wait to chat with you about what we're going to do for these babies. Okay. We're going to get these babies. We're going to get the house. We're going to get the house clean. We're going to get everything. They're going to be lick walls. It's going to be fabulous. Okay. And they get really excited because everything we've done and discussed is completely on the same path as their goals. And so that's really changed everything. As far as sign up and getting that value for Essential Rewards really, really knit within their hearts. And I love that. I've actually had people where I'm like, hey, it's time for our coaching calls. And I'm not kidding. I just texted her last week and she's like, girl, no, I'm good this month. Let's plan for next month for sure. But I have a list like a mile long of stuff and I'm loving my kit and I'm loving this. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, well, I'm here if you need anything. But, that's what your goal is that in that first time you're talking with them, you're able to actually have a plan for them and have some ideas for them moving forward. And so that when they're doing their own research, they're going to see stuff they want. The next thing you know, you've got a list this long of stuff that they want. And the ER becomes that no-brainer. All right. So point 2, follow up. Okay. I can be a squirrel when I start talking, so I'm so glad I wrote this down. Follow up. And now with the ER, with the starter kit, counting as your first ER order, I feel like the biggest amount of your follow-up really actually needs to be after month 2 into month 3 and 4, because month 1, it used to be that like they'd have a lot more stuff on the front end of month 1, and so you really want to make sure month 2 they're ready for all their stuff. But now it's a little bit more like a heavier follow-up once they're into month 3, month 4, getting it a little more down the line. And a lot of that's just because it's spaced out a little more. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But the most important thing, though, is follow-up. Just making sure that you're checking in with them. And definitely take notes on the people that you talk to. I don't know if I can try sharing this file later, and I don't know like if I totally wasted my time doing this. But I created this paper, if I can find it here. I thought it was super cool, but it helped me because I like lists, love lists. But I suck at remembering some things sometimes or some details. And all of a sudden, I'm not even kidding. A girl came to my house the other day. She's getting a starter kit. And I'm like, yeah, so how's it going living with your mom now? And she's like, I don't know in place, girl. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I totally had 2 conversations woven together, and she's, it was a hot mess. So this is really helpful for me, which is like a little note sheet. But the cool thing about it, I wish I could screen share it, but I'm not using my computer. But basically it's got whether or not they're on Essential Rewards, when they started, because I want to change that kind of information or know that if they've done Young Living Go, because a lot of people don't know about Young Living Go. And then they're like, why haven't I been saving money on this? But I don't know that they have Young Living Go because there's no button for that yet. I'm sure somebody will fix that. But if I don't know that they don't have it, then now I know that they've got it. And I've made sure I've said that, because I don't want my members ever saying to me, girl, why didn't you tell me about Young Living Go? That would be so bad. And I actually say it that way when I tell them. I said, no, I'm going to tell you about a bunch of stuff. This is what it is. You just tell me. And honestly, if I sign people up in person, because the next thing is PV Assistant. If people don't have PV Assistant, they're going to be so mad at you when their order is $86 and they didn't get their free bottle of oil. Do you know how many people were upset about that? I've literally sent at least 2 bottles of oil until I learned my lesson. But PV Assistant is actually marked on your on Young Living's or in your organization. You can see who has it turned on. It's a cool little green shield, in case you didn't know what that little symbol was. That's what that is. And I have talked to so many people, and after I explained it to them and walked them through doing it, and I now do it when I sign people up in person all the time, they were like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing that. I'm like, because I know you're going to be mad if you don't get that product, and I don't want you calling me, okay? And being like, why didn't you warn me? And then there was a thing, because they're going to call customer service, and customer service is going to say to them, but we have a feature called PV Assistant. And then you know who's going to get a phone call next. It's going to be you. Why didn't you tell me about PV Assistant? So it's important to have that information, and I'm really happy I stuck it on this paper. But what I love about my check boxes is that it reminds me, did I send them a welcome gift? Did I get them incorporated into something in social media? Have I done my first coaching meeting, my second coaching meeting, my third coaching meeting? And I just write the month and the date or whatever. I just write something down that I've done it, whether I write a checkbox. None of these are perfect, okay, guys? But I even have it 1 year, it says celebrate here, because I want to make sure that I send them something on their oil-iversary. And happy anniversary or oil-iversary. Ashley, I saw your post. But anyway, their name is big, and this is their name, not their Facebook name and not their name, because I have a lot of people who their name doesn't match their, the name you call them doesn't, like my name. It says Kimberly M. Love Warder. Everyone who knows me calls me Kim. So this would say Kim right here. Does that make sense? Plenty of room for notes. And then if they start hosting classes, enrolling, achieving a rank, and hitting a personal goal, health goal, like I want to have that stuff tangible. And I like my paper because yes, digital is great, but this helps me make sure I'm staying in touch with people. And that's so important when we're talking about follow-up, is making sure that we are doing those touches. And I've looked through here and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't talked to somebody in 2 months. I need to make sure I do that. And I know some of you might be smaller, and that's great, but you want to think long-term. I know God told me this 3-4 months ago. He said, you need to get organized, because if you don't get organized, your team's going to start growing and you're not going to be prepared for this. And so I started getting my stuff in order here, because I like order. That functions for me. I am very green. I'm red, green. Like, this makes me happy. Okay. But this also helps keep me straight. And so I don't miss things. And I hate missing things. And all you yellows, and I think every human being hates if they miss something for the people they love. So anyhow, follow-up's a big deal, making sure you're staying on top of those things, but just reminding them the value of ER. But more than anything else, if they're not on Essential Rewards and you haven't talked to them in a while, and I know I'm kind of slightly deviating, but make sure you ask them, how can I help you use the product that you haven't used that's still sitting in your house? Because that breaks my heart. That I get it. I'm not calling you to help you go shopping. I'm calling you because I don't want you to lose your investment. Tell me what you've got left over. Let's figure out how you can, at the very least, use up that stuff. And I can't tell you how many people have come back to me and have come back onto Essential Rewards because using the product that they had at their house made such a difference. It made such an impact on their health that they were like, I don't know why on earth I quit using my Young Living products. I knew better than to do that. Thank you so much for helping me use what I have. I want to get back on Essential Rewards. Let me change my life. And so that's really powerful, is making sure you're staying in touch with people, following up with them, even if they've been inactive for a year, 8 months, whatever. It's really, really fabulous to follow up. All right, last point, teach, reproduce what you are, okay? You cannot get up here and start telling people, oh, this is how you need to do it. But if you're not doing it yourself, and then at the same time, you need to teach your leaders how to do this. You need to have a Zoom call with your leaders. You need to share this video. You need to do stuff like this where you are empowering other people who are building to see these kind of smart business strategies where other people fell flat on their face first ahead of you. And they're saying, hey, don't mess up and not follow up if you're agreed and need a list. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to know your weaknesses so that you can use your strengths to support them. Okay. My weakness is follow up. Ask anybody. That was where I've been busted and broken, but I used my strength, which is organizing, to create a system to help me so that I will actually do better. So if your weakness is something else, make sure you find out what your weakness is, acknowledge it, and then find a way to support it so it's no longer something that will cripple your business. And you want to teach your leaders that, and you will reproduce what you are. It's that whole same thing with your children, right? Don't hit, but if you're smacking everything, of course they're going to hit. Like, don't say these words, but if you're saying them, they're going to be saying them also. We will always reproduce what we are in our business in everything we do. And the crazy thing is these people don't even have to hang out with you all the time. They're just going to see what you're doing in the background. They're just going to watch the little things you do. They're going to see your shares. They're going to see the things that you do, and they're going to start doing those things. And you want them to be making good choices too. So it's just, teach your leaders, be that person, live that lifestyle, make that change, make that determination to do these things, and be consistent. I guess that should be on here, but that should be point number 4, is be consistent. Don't quit. don't give up. It gets hard. We all have crappy months. We all have terrible weeks, days. I don't even want to talk about the last 2 weeks. Okay. Be consistent, be present. And if you have a bad week, brush yourself off and just start over. Don't let the enemy come berate you with negativity. Just pick yourself up, find a positive person, call a friend, call me. I'll encourage you. And it's going to be okay. And just know that there are highs and lows in life. There are highs and lows in our businesses, and it's going to be all right. And we're all going to make it. So that was everything that I think I wanted to say, and then some. And I have a really fun thing for us to do. So Ashley, I will turn it over to you for a sec, but I really have a fun activity for us.
I feel like you should keep teaching us, because there is stuff that I'm like, she definitely gained that wisdom on her own, because I don't know anyone that does that. Like in her upline, I don't know anyone that's ever told me any of that stuff. I don't know any, like you literally have wisdom and things that you've created that you do that I've never, here's a good one. We all talk about PV Assist. I have literally never, ever heard one person say, I make sure they get on PV Assist the night they get their premium starter kit and sign up for ER. Like I've never talked to someone about PV Assist when they get their kit. I mean, that's just one example where I'm like, it's so smart, because I am not organized, and y'all know that. But what I do think that I do well, you ready? Is I think that I don't miss things. But like hearing her say some of the details, I do miss things. And it's not that I miss them occasionally, it's that I literally just like don't ever do it. So I don't think of it as part of the process. So for me, I have never done sheets on my members. And at this point, I'm like, I wish that I would have for 5 years done that on some of my members, because some people, I want to know that they've been on ER a total of 3 years, even they've been off and on and off and on. Like there's some stuff that you just can't see in your virtual office, or you can't see in Oily Tools or other apps we use. So thank you for sharing that. And why don't you go ahead and give us your activity, because it sounds way more fun than me just rambling about how you're awesome and how we all should do this stuff.
Well, thank you, Ashley. And I can share a link to that thing. I'll figure out how to, it's in Pages though. I don't touch Microsoft products anymore. I'm very sorry if that's offensive to anyone. Okay, so this is such a cool idea. So Ashley said have like a question or something like that. And so, I had one more tip too. Never, ever, ever, this is big never, okay? Like red sign, don't ever do this. Never, ever, ever get them. And I learned this from you actually, Ashley, because I actually wanted to like punch you in the face when you first said this like forever ago, because I was so broke. I was like, I'm so broke. She don't understand. But never, ever, ever view the starter kit as expensive. Okay. Like that should not be in your thought life, in your vocabulary ever. And I was so annoyed when you said this a long time ago, but I get it now. I totally get it now, because I felt like so offended. Like, you don't know my finances. You don't know my struggle. You're over there like, I think you were a platinum at the time. Like you're over there being a platinum and stuff like that. You don't know what it's like. And, I had to sell my snowboard for my starter kit. Like, I'm not kidding. Like I had to break that down within myself. And now I get it. Like people, and I've watched so many people. I've had people who I have faithfully talked to for 9 months. Okay. This one girl, I've been talking to her for over a year, because over a year I've talked to her, and she just finally got her starter kit. She's a single mom with 2 kids, and she finally was like, no, I'm signing up. And I just signed her up the other day. So they will find the value in it, and they know it's there. And if you are just simply teaching the value in the starter kit, let them decide whether it's expensive or not. Let them decide where their money goes. And if your entire focus is it's worth every freaking penny, every single cent, then your entire communication is it's worth it. Let me add value. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that was on here, because that's probably my favorite lesson I ever learned from Ashley, that it's like, I finally get it. All right. So how do we add value, guys? So like, that's like the big question. And how do you do this whole coaching thing? Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I never took a class on how to become a coach. So this is like a mini, like, power 30 minutes or power 20 minutes of how do I become a coach? How do I coach somebody? Okay. And so we're all going to, like, you guys can unmute if you want to, or if you guys just feel more comfortable typing. What are the top 10 things people need from Young Living that are outside of the starter kit? Okay. Like, what are the top 10 things, the top 10 products that you're like, oh my God, everybody needs to have this. Okay. Now I get it. Like, you might be talking to a woman, or you might be talking to a man. I get that. Like, but just go ahead. Top 10 things that you would say are the things that people have to have outside of the starter kit. Okay, so either unmute yourself or comment in the thing and go.
I would say for me, the toothpaste and mouthwash.
Okay, that's awesome. Probably should do why. Like, what makes you, and what's the number one thing you would say? Like the top 10 things, and like the one why that's so significant.
I have always, so my why for the toothpaste and mouthwash, I've always been really good about brushing my teeth. I don't smoke or anything like that, but I have noticed a significant difference in how clean my teeth feel, how white they are, how much fresher my breath is even after sleeping and not brushing my teeth after I have a glass of wine before I go to bed and all of that. It's made a huge difference in how my mouth feels. And the fact that they have the kids sleek toothpaste and they love it. And they've always not been crazy about other natural toothpaste, but this one, they're like, Mom, don't forget my toothpaste in my, so.
That's awesome. Super awesome. Thank you so much. All right, who's next? Even if it's not 10 items, what's your number one thing that you tell people? Come on, guys. Don't be shy. I'm totally comfortable with awkward silences. I just want everybody to know that.
I am too, but I think some people right now are probably like laying in their beds. That's what I think is happening.
Oh, okay.
On their beds, on their phones, not typing and not wanting to be seen. So I will tell you, my favorite product outside of the starter kit is Ningxia Red. And for me, it's one that I'm never afraid to tell people to invest in. I always say just get a 2-pack. It's like $70. It'll be the majority of your first ER after the kit. And I want you to take it for every day for a month, you and your spouse. And if they're not, if they don't have a spouse, then I say maybe they have a child. Anyway, I try to do it with 2 people for a month. So that's about 2 bottles. Where I just say, get it and take it for yourself for 50 days. It's really a 50-day supply. It's 25 servings a bottle. I always say 30 servings a bottle because y'all know we all forget a few days a month. So it's like 30 servings a bottle. I always say that. But why I love to tell people is, for me, I know if I skip Ningxia Red for more than a day, I feel different. Like my body feels different, my mind feels different, and it's something I did not start with until month like 5 in the business. I mean, I was the silver the first time I ever tried Ningxia Red. Yes, y'all can judge me, but I just was. None of us were doing it. And then I realized that it was a game changer in people's health. So I am never hesitant to say Ningxia Red. And I see that Angela wrote Ningxia Red, never hesitant. On top of what y'all are adding, I always add citrus oils that are in the kit. So orange is a great one for people to get started with. Orange and Joy, and now we have Peace and Calm in the kit, so I don't say that, but I will add things like a roll-on, like the Tranquil roll-on or like Deep Relief. So something that's easy to use, that's pre-made, that they can just become addicted to right away. I mean, that really is always my goal with oils, because some of my favorite oils are like Transformation. That's $72. That's not what I say to people. But I do say Joy. And if for you, if that's been a game changer for you, remember that, because there aren't a lot of emotional oils in our kit, especially in the 2018 one, right? Like our newer kit, there's some more, but there were not a lot in that other kit. And now that Copaiba is in the starter kit, that's always my number one recommendation for oils.
That's good. That's good. So some of the other people, just for watching, for those of you watching, toothpaste, Thieves Household Cleaner, even though it's in the kit, they're going to want the big bottle, Carrie, did you want to share?
Yeah, so I'd say another item that is not in a starter kit is cortisol, and especially someone who has struggled, and that this was actually recommended to me by Rachel Page. She told me about it when she did my first scan, and it came up on my scan, and I was like, what does that even do? And she's like, well, because I had mentioned one of the biggest things I struggle with was like losing weight, and she's like, it is amazing what it can do, because it actually helps to prohibit the excess production of cortisol, which can actually help you hold excess weight, for women in that muffin top, or I call it my kangaroo pouch area. And it has made such a huge difference. And I love that it's not something that I have to constantly take. I take it for, the life of the bottle, and then I go off it for a month, and then I take it again. And I need it, then I don't. And if I feel like I need it, then I get it, and bing, bang, boom, it's in my next order. So that would be another.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really awesome. Another one here that Angela wrote was Omega Guys. I would love to actually know, Angela, why Omega Guys? Like, what's so awesome about that one? And it's omega 3s, right? Pretty sure that one is omega 3s. I changed my view.
Whose aria is that? I love it.
Oh, I just realized this. Do you know I just tuned it out? That was me.
Oh, it's yours? This whole time I was like, someone's aria.
It's fine. I just turned it on. I mean, it's background noise. You don't really notice it's there.
No, Angie, can you tell us? I guess you can't because she's typing. I was gonna say I would actually like to know how you sell someone at enrollment on that one, because that is a different. I love Omega Guys, but that's not everyone I've thought about top 10 when someone first gets enrolled. So I would love to hear like what you would say to somebody, because that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, my mom's obsessed with CoQ10. She's like 68, and I'm like, Mom, there's CoQ10 in a lot of this stuff. She's like, oh, Kimberly, yeah, give me CoQ10. I'm like, how do you even know what that means? Like, I need to learn this.
She knows.
That's awesome. All right. Beth said the Thieves Spray, definitely a 3-pack. I have one in my bed, in my car, and in my purse. Safe and convenient for hands, mouth, doorknobs, airplane sprays, and all things. That's a really good idea, for sure. Fun. Well, Angela's doing some typing too. I know for me, and this is another way to kind of change the way you think when you say top 10, is think in the terms of body systems. Because a lot of times you're going to talk to people and they're going to say stuff like, man, like, I've really been, they'll talk about emotional issues, or I've really been struggling with hormonal stuff, or I've really been struggling with, just different systems of the body, my gut health, right? And so much stuff is linked to the gut anyway. So Life 9 probiotics for the adults, the Mighty Pro for the kiddos is phenomenal. So those are definitely my top 2. My kids love their Mighty Pros. They call them their Wolfies. And I tell the kids it's like a pixie stick. You know what I mean? Because it really is. It's just like a pixie stick, but the package is wider, not skinny. And it's been phenomenal for gut health. Oh, Angela answered. When they start asking about ER, I talk Omega Guys, because lots of people take fish oils, and many from GNC, Walmart, and and they're full of garbage. It's so true. Yeah, definitely true. So when you think body systems, though, like, again, like whenever I've talked to people about hormones, my number, like anytime, I have so many women who talk to me about hormones. I'm actually teaching on Monday the 26th at my chiropractor's office on women's hormones, and I'm really, really stoked to do that. But the thing that we talk about a lot is EndoFlex on, the adrenals on the back. That's amazing for every day. We talk about Progessence Plus. And that's really, one of those ones that you want to kind of talk to them a little more about, where it fits in the age line, where Progessence Plus makes sense. But like when they're super young, I kind of like try to say like, well, let's just start with Dragon Time and EndoFlex and see if Progessence Plus makes sense. And then as they're more mature in their 30s and 40s and stuff, Progessence Plus is like, oh, that's everything. And then like, I love it even for the ladies who have passed that season of life. They actually love Progessence Plus, and it's actually highly recommended because progesterone is something that they haven't had forever. And like getting it back, it's like a big perk of, oh, I feel young again and vibrant again because I used to have this coursing through my body and haven't had it in forever. So that's like a really fabulous one for that. But knowing about hormones and how that can help, I think I actually have a hormones class that I taught online that you guys could look at. But that's really a big one, and knowing what those are, because that's like literally a month to 2 months worth of ER if their budget's only 50. And just remembering to honor people's budgets. Like, I don't know what your budget is, but I always like to aim for 50, and then if I see what the promos are, or tell them the minimum is 50, and I try to aim for 100 to get that first promo. And then from there, just say like, but every month there's going to be different promos, and explain how those promos work. I have a cabinet armoire downstairs, and I actually line up every month on the first of the month. I line up what the promos are in my cabinet, so that when I open my cabinet doors and grab a starter kit for them, or open up the doors and there's the starter kit sitting right there, they can see tangibly what the promo is. And I've had someone say like, oh girl, there's dish soap. I'm like, yeah, there's dish soap. And so it's a really great conversation starter when those free products are there. And I saved that little card, like when you finish 3, 6, and 9 months and 12 months, you get your loyalty blend. They have a card that Young Living sends you that says free product. It's like a postcard. And I stick that postcard right next to the lineup because I'm all about hey. And so they're like, oh, what's this say free product? Oh, that's what you get every month if you decide to do Essential Rewards. And these are all the things that, based off of that. So anyway, so those are some fun little ideas as well. I'm missing all the chat stuff.
No, you are amazing. Like, I would have never in my life, I don't remember that card, and I know that there is one. I am just so thankful that you shared this with us, and I can't wait to see what y'all put into practice. Our Zoom, it's been about 37 minutes, so I do want to honor your time and jump on off. But what I want all of us to do, and I'm saying all of us and me, yes, trust me, I need work on this, is Kim, do you do just your personally enrolled with those info sheets or your whole team? That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I did mean to say that earlier. Yeah, I only do my personally enrolled and the people that I'm invested in. Yeah, I don't do this for the rest of my team. I just created it like last month. And so I am going to forward it out to everybody on my team so that they can better track everybody as well if they want to use it, But it's definitely a fun resource. Could it be fine-tuned? Sure. But, I was like, nope, I'm not even going to look at it again. We're just going to click send and it's done. And this is how it's going to be for a while. And it's been helpful, especially when life happens and it gets real. So
Awesome.
Need something to drop back.
So remember, you always want to take care of your personally enrolled first, and then any legs where you don't have an upline leader in them that's actually supporting, but always your personally enrolled. And that's something for me that when I look at our team, some of y'all have like 300 personally enrolled and some people have 3 personally enrolled. So it's all relative because some people that is like the bulk of their team is their personally enrolled. And some of y'all have been building a business a little bit differently, right? So thank you for being on tonight. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing your wisdom. And we can't wait to continue learning with you, from you, and moving forward together. So thanks, guys. And thanks, Kim.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.